What if everything you've been told is a lie? What if a hidden elite code controls governments, wars, and even your thoughts? Welcome to Elite Code Exposed, the secret societies and global conspiracies. Controlling us, a full documentary diving into the truths few dare to expose. In this 50-minute journey, we'll uncover the invisible structures of power, from secret societies to mind control agendas. If you're ready to question reality, hit that like button now and subscribe for more eye-opening exposes. Comment below, what's the one conspiracy theory that keeps you up at night? Let's begin with the foundation of it all, the invisible structure that shapes our world. But first, a warning. Once you see the elite code, you can't unsee it. The very fabric of our society, the threads of history, are woven with patterns most people never notice. These aren't random events. They are calculated moves in a grand centuries-old game. For generations, whispers of secret brotherhoods and unseen puppeteers have echoed through the corridors of time. They've been dismissed as folklore, as the paranoid ramblings of the fringe. But what if the evidence has been hiding in plain sight all along? What if the symbols on our money, the architecture of our capital cities, and the strange coincidences of history are all part of a larger, deliberate design? A design meant to keep a select few in power and the rest of us in the dark. We are told we live in an age of information, with knowledge at our fingertips. But is it truly knowledge, or a carefully curated version of reality? From the ancient mystery schools of Egypt to the hushed meetings in modern-day boardrooms, a lineage of power has persisted. This is not about a single group or a single nation. It's a global network, a shadow government operating beyond the laws and borders that govern our lives. They are the architects of our financial systems, the instigators of conflict, and the gatekeepers of technology. They decide who rises and who falls, which ideas flourish and which are suppressed. Their primary weapon isn't a gun or a bomb. It's control over information, control over your perception. In this investigation, we will connect the dots. We'll trace the origins of these powerful groups, exploring their secret rituals, their core ideologies, and their ultimate objectives. We'll examine historical events not as they are written in textbooks, but through the lens of this hidden agenda. The rise and fall of empires, the outbreak of world wars, the booms and busts of the global economic, could they all be orchestrated? Are the leaders we elect merely actors playing a part on a stage set by others? We will dissect declassified documents, analyze forgotten symbols, and hear from insiders who have risked everything to speak out. These aren't just theories. They are questions that demand answers. But be prepared. The path we are about to walk is a dark one. It challenges the very foundations of what you believe to be true about the world and your place in it. This journey will force you to see patterns where you once saw chaos and intention where you once saw chance. The elite code is more than just a conspiracy. It's a paradigm, a lens through which the world is irrevocably changed. It is the operating system running in the background of our civilization. Are you brave enough to look behind the curtain? The truth is waiting. The time to awaken is now. Stick with us as we pull back the veil and expose the mechanisms of control that have remained hidden for far too long. The revelations will be shocking, but ignorance is no longer an option. Let's delve deeper into the shadows. In every nation, behind every government, there exists an invisible structure, a network of influence, power, and control that transcends borders and ideologies. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. It's a system built on centuries of manipulation, secrecy, and elite coordination. Take the Bilderberg Group, founded in 1954, where world leaders, CEOs, and billionaires meet in secret annually. No press, no minutes, just decisions that ripple through global policies. Or the Trilateral Commission, created by David Rockefeller in 1973, linking North America, Europe, and Asia in a web of economic dominance. Why the secrecy? Because public scrutiny would expose how these entities shape everything from trade deals to elections. For example, in the 2008 financial crisis, many argued these groups orchestrated bailouts that favored the elite while the masses suffered. We've seen declassified documents hinting at their influence, like CIA memos on global coordination. But is this just coincidence or a deliberate elite conspiracy? As we dive deeper, ask yourself, who really pulls the strings in your country? If this intrigues you, subscribe now and turn on notifications. More truths await. In every nation, behind every government, there exists an invisible structure, a network of influence, power, and control that transcends borders and ideologies. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. It's a system built on centuries of manipulation, secrecy, and elite coordination. Consider the Council on Foreign Relations, founded over a century ago. Its membership roster reads like a who's who of American power, from presidents and secretaries of state to media moguls and Wall Street titans. They publish influential journals and host private meetings, shaping foreign policy far from the public eye. Is it merely a think tank, or the unelected de facto government of the United States? Then, there's the Bilderberg Group, established in 1954. Every year, around 130 of the world's most powerful figures, heads of state, intelligence chiefs, CEOs of multinational corporations, and banking giants convened in absolute secrecy. No press is allowed, no minutes are released, and attendees are bound by the Chatham House rule, meaning they can use the information they receive, but not reveal its source. They claim it's just an informal discussion forum. But when the heads of NATO, the World Bank, and Google meet behind closed doors with royalty and prime ministers, can we truly believe their decisions don't have earth-shattering consequences for us all? Decisions made in these clandestine gatherings have an uncanny way of becoming global policy. From the creation of the European Union to the selection of political candidates, the fingerprints of these groups are everywhere. In 1991, David Rockefeller himself, a founder of the Trilateral Commission, thanked the media for their discretion, saying, "The world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government. The supranational sovereignty of an intellectual elite and world bankers is surely preferable to the national autodetermination practiced in past centuries." He said it himself. A world government run by an unelected elite. This isn't ancient history. Think about the major events of our lifetime. The 2008 financial crisis, for instance. Key figures who attended Bilderberg meetings in the years prior were the same ones who designed the massive bailouts. Bailouts that saved the very banks and institutions represented at those secret meetings. While millions of ordinary people lost their homes and life savings. Coincidence? Or a pre-planned transfer of wealth orchestrated by those who pull the strings? Let's cross the Atlantic to the Trilateral Commission. Created by Rockefeller in 1973 to foster cooperation between North America, Western Europe, and Japan. Its stated goal was to manage global economic interdependence. But critics, including former senators, warned it was a vehicle for multinational corporations to seize control, creating a new world order where corporate profit supersedes national sovereignty. They aimed to create a web of economic dominance, ensnaring nations in a system they could not escape. How do they maintain such control? Through influence. Members of these groups are placed in key positions across government, finance, media, and academia. They control the narrative, shaping what you see, hear, and believe. They fund universities, own news networks, and chair powerful committees. This creates an echo chamber where the elite consensus is presented as objective truth, and any dissenting voice is dismissed as extremist or misinformed. We've seen glimpses of their power through declassified documents. CIA memos reveal coordination on global policy, while diplomatic cables hint at a shadow network operating parallel to official channels. But the full picture remains hidden, locked away in private archives or redacted into oblivion. The truth is obscured by layers of plausible deniability and official silence. They want you to believe these are just harmless clubs for the rich and powerful. But when we connect the dots, a disturbing pattern emerges. A pattern of coordinated action, shared agendas, and a relentless drive towards centralized global control. It's a silent coup happening in plain sight. They don't need armies when they control the money supply. They don't need to seize power when they already own the politicians. As we continue to peel back the layers of this global power structure, you must start to question everything. Look at the leaders you elect, the news you consume, the economic systems you participate in. Are they serving your interests or the interests of a hidden hand? Who really pulls the strings in your country? The answer is far more complex and unsettling than you can imagine. If this search for truth intrigues you, subscribe now and turn on notifications. The rabbit hole goes much deeper, and we are just getting started. More truths await. For centuries, we've been taught that wars erupt from ideological clashes, territorial disputes, or the righteous defense of freedom. We see the headlines, hear the speeches, and accept the narratives presented to us. But what if the real story, the one that truly shapes our world, is hidden from view, operating in the shadows of power and finance? What if the conflicts that define generations aren't spontaneous tragedies, but carefully orchestrated events driven by forces with a vested interest in chaos? This is a journey into the heart of that question, a look behind the curtain of geopolitics to uncover a startling possibility that war, for some, is not a last resort, but a business model. Let's travel back to 1964. The world's attention is fixed on Southeast Asia. The Gulf of Tonkin incident becomes the flashpoint, the justification for a massive escalation of American involvement in Vietnam. The public is told of an unprovoked attack, a clear act of aggression that demands a response. For years, that was the accepted truth. But decades later, declassified documents paint a far more complex and disturbing picture. The intelligence was incomplete, contested, even misrepresented. The so-called certainties were, in fact, ambiguities. Yet, based on this shaky foundation, a conflict was dramatically expanded. A conflict that would last for years, cost countless lives, and, for a select few, generate unprecedented profits. Defense contracts soared. The machinery of war went into overdrive, and the stock prices of military hardware manufacturers climbed ever higher. Was it a tragic miscalculation? Or was the fog of war deliberately thickened to serve a different agenda? Fast forward to the early 2000s. The world is on edge, and the focus shifts to the Middle East. Alarms are raised about terrifying weapons programs, presenting a clear and present danger to global security. Intelligence reports, presented with absolute certainty, fuel a march to war. The invasion of Iraq begins, promising to disarm a threat and bring stability. But what was found, the arsenals of destruction, the primary justification for the conflict, were not there. The intelligence, once again, was found to contain significant, catastrophic errors. Yet, the outcome was familiar. A nation was thrown into chaos. But for certain corporations, it was a golden opportunity. Multi-billion-dollar contracts for security, reconstruction, and logistics were awarded. The war became an industry, and its shareholders reaped enormous rewards. The question lingers, suspended in the air like dust over a ruined city. Was the intelligence failure a simple mistake? Or was it a convenient narrative amplified to unlock immense financial gain? The pattern is hard to ignore. This is not a new concern. In his farewell address in 1961, a most unlikely source issued a stark and prophetic warning. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a five-star general and a man who had commanded the Allied forces in Europe, spoke not of foreign adversaries, but of a danger from within. He called it the military-industrial complex. He warned of the unwarranted influence that this conjunction of a massive military establishment and a large arms industry could acquire in the halls of government. He cautioned that public policy could become the captive of a scientific technological elite, driven by profit and power. It was an astonishing admission from a man who knew the system better than anyone. He saw the potential for a disastrous rise of misplaced power, a dynamic where the incentive for peace could be overshadowed by the profitability of conflict. Has his warning gone unheeded? Are we living in the very future he feared? Today, the connections are more intricate and opaque than ever before. Consider the flow of money and influence in modern capitals. Powerful lobbying firms, representing the interests of major defense contractors, spend billions to shape policy. Former government officials and high-ranking military officers often move through a revolving door, taking lucrative positions on the boards of the very companies they once regulated or awarded contracts to. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Policies that favor military solutions over diplomatic ones can become self-perpetuating, not because they are the most effective, but because they are the most profitable for an influential network of insiders. Independent analysts and watchdog groups continuously highlight these entanglements. Tracing the lines of influence from corporate boardrooms to the highest levels of government, they ask a simple, yet profound question. When decisions of war and peace are being made, whose interests are truly being served? The public's or the shareholders of the military-industrial complex? The evidence suggests a system where perpetual conflict is not an anomaly, but a feature. The narrative of constant threat of enemies at the gate keeps the budgets flowing and the production lines moving. The fear of falling behind in military technology fuels a relentless arms race, regardless of actual diplomatic realities. This isn't about patriotism, it's about market share. New domains of conflict are constantly being opened, from cyberspace to outer space, each one a new frontier for investment and profit. For the average citizen, war means sacrifice and loss. For this powerful complex of interests, it represents a bull market. We are sold the idea that massive military spending equals security. But what if it primarily equals guaranteed revenue for a select group of corporations, creating a cycle where the solutions proposed for our problems just happen to be the products they sell? This exploration is not about diminishing the valor of soldiers or dismissing the reality of genuine threats. It is about questioning the framework in which these events occur. It's about pulling back the veneer of official narratives and examining the mechanics of power that operate beneath the surface. The patterns are too consistent, the financial incentives too massive, and the warnings from history too clear to be dismissed as mere coincidence. The line between national defense and corporate profit has become dangerously blurred. We must ask ourselves, are we, the public, merely spectators in a grand theater of conflict, where the script is written by those who stand to gain the most from the drama? Is the drumbeat of war sometimes a carefully composed rhythm designed to keep the engine of industry turning? The answers are unsettling, but the pursuit of truth demands we ask the questions. If you believe these questions are worth asking, like this video and subscribe for more deep dive investigations into the forces that shape our world. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bone Society, established in the 1800s, has also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bones Society, established in the 1800s, has also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bones Society, established in the 1800s, has also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bones Society, established in the 1800s, has also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bones Society, established in the 1800s, has also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Throughout history, certain private organizations and fraternal groups have attracted the attention of researchers and independent historians. Groups like the Freemasons, founded centuries ago, have counted numerous presidents and influential figures among their members, and their symbols can still be seen in architecture and currency around the world. Yale University's Skull and Bones Society, established in the 1800s, have also produced several prominent political and business leaders, and is known for its private rituals and lifelong bonds among members. Other historical orders, such as the Rosicrucians, have long been associated with esoteric knowledge and symbolism. Many independent researchers ask whether membership in these exclusive groups offers networking advantages that remain hidden from the general public, and why certain symbols connected to these organizations appear repeatedly in important government buildings and monuments. This segment simply explores the questions that historians and investigators continue to raise about private societies and their possible influence over time. If you enjoy historical mysteries, like the video and subscribe for more documentaries like this. Have you ever felt like there's more to history than what we learn in school? Like maybe, just maybe, some crucial pieces of the puzzle have gone missing. It's a fascinating thought, and it's not just a plot for a movie. Some serious historians and researchers believe that, throughout time, important knowledge may have been deliberately suppressed or tragically lost forever. Let's start with one of the most famous examples, the Library of Alexandria. Imagine a place that held the accumulated knowledge of the ancient world: philosophy, science, mathematics, literature, hundreds of thousands of scrolls containing centuries of human thought. Then, poof, gone. Its destruction, whether through one catastrophic fire or a series of events over time, represents an incalculable loss. What secrets about the ancient world? What secrets breakthroughs? What philosophical insights were turned to ash? We can only speculate, but it's a chilling reminder of how fragile knowledge can be. The loss of the Library of Alexandria created a massive gap in our understanding of the past, one that scholars are still trying to piece together today. Fast forward a couple of millennia to a name many of us know: Nikola Tesla. He was a certified genius, a visionary whose mind crackled with ideas that were light years ahead of his time. We have him to thank for alternating current, the very system that powers our world today. But what about his later work? Tesla claimed to be on the verge of developing a way to transmit wireless energy across the globe, providing clean, free power for everyone. He even built the Wardenclyffe Tower for this purpose. But after his death, his research notes and equipment were seized by the government. Many of his later inventions and theories received little mainstream support and seem to have just vanished. Was it because his ideas were too radical, too unprofitable for the established powers? Some researchers argue that his work on free energy was intentionally sidelined, suppressed because it threatened existing economic and power structures. We're left wondering what our world would look like if Tesla's grandest visions had been realized. Beyond these well-known cases, there's a whole world of alternative historical theories that challenge the mainstream narrative. Think about the Great Pyramid of Giza or Stonehenge. Official explanations tell us one story about how these magnificent structures were built. Yet, independent researchers point to evidence they claim doesn't quite add up. They question the tools, the timelines, the sheer engineering prowess required. These researchers propose theories about advanced ancient civilizations, lost technologies, or even celestial knowledge that helped our ancestors achieve these incredible feats. While these ideas are often dismissed by mainstream academia, they persist because they speak to the gaps and inconsistencies in the official record. They force us to ask, are we really seeing the full picture? Is it possible that entire chapters of human history, chapters that would redefine who we are and where we came from, have been left out of the story? The official historical record is like a book with pages torn out. These gaps, whether created by accident like the fire in Alexandria, or by what some believe was intentional suppression like with Tesla's work, leave us with profound questions. They fuel the work of independent researchers who dare to look beyond the accepted narrative. They remind us that history is not a static, settled thing. It's a living, breathing investigation, and there are still so many mysteries waiting to be uncovered. What other lost knowledge is out there, just waiting for a curious mind to rediscover it? The search for answers continues, and it's a journey that challenges everything we think we know about our past. Thanks for watching. If you find these historical mysteries as intriguing as I do, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the unknown. See you next time! Have you ever wondered just how much the world around you shapes your thoughts? It's a question that has fascinated, and sometimes frightened, researchers for decades. Let's take a journey back to the mid-20th century, a time of intense global tension and scientific curiosity. This era saw the rise of government programs like the now infamous Declassified files revealed a startling exploration into the very mechanics of the human mind. The program delved into psychological research methods, some of which are now widely condemned for their ethical breaches. The goal was to understand and, ultimately, to control human behavior. While these specific programs were officially shut down, the questions they raised never really went away. They simply evolved. Fast forward to today. We're no longer just dealing with clandestine experiments. The laboratory is now all around us. It's in the palm of your hand, on the screen in your living room, and on the billboards you pass every day. Researchers in fields like psychology, sociology, and media analysis are now studying a much more pervasive form of influence. They're looking at how modern media, sophisticated advertising campaigns, and the social platforms we scroll through daily can subtly guide public opinion and behavior. It's not about secret labs anymore. It's about algorithms, emotional triggers, and the power of repetition. Think about it. How many times do you need to see a product or a headline before it sticks in your mind? How does a powerful, emotional story make you feel? And more importantly, what does it make you want to do or believe? The core principle is surprisingly simple. Repetition breeds familiarity, and familiarity can lead to acceptance. When we're exposed to the same message over and over, our brains can start to process it as credible, or at least normal. This is a powerful tool. Advertisers use it to build brand recognition, making you reach for a specific soda or soap without even thinking. News outlets can shape a narrative by repeatedly focusing on certain aspects of a story while downplaying others. On social media, this effect is amplified. Algorithms are designed to show you more of what you've already engaged with, creating an echo chamber where certain ideas are constantly reinforced, making them seem more popular and true than they might actually be. Then there's the emotional component. We're not purely logical beings. Our decisions are heavily influenced by how we feel. Content that sparks joy, anger, fear, or a sense of belonging is far more likely to be shared and remembered. Viral videos, heartwarming stories, and outrage-inducing headlines are all engineered to hit you on an emotional level. This emotional connection can bypass our critical thinking. When we feel strongly about something, we're less likely to question it. Media analysts today are constantly dissecting how these emotional triggers are used to sway public opinion on everything from political candidates to social movements. They study the language, the imagery, and the timing of messages to understand their impact on our collective psyche. So, where does this leave us? The big question that psychologists and media experts are still grappling with is about the line between persuasion and manipulation. Is a cleverly crafted ad that makes you feel happy just good marketing, or is it exploiting your emotions? Is a social media feed that's tailored to your biases a helpful service, or a mechanism that deepens social divides? There are no easy answers. What is clear is that our perception of reality is constantly being filtered and framed by outside forces. Understanding these mechanisms isn't about becoming paranoid, It's about becoming a more conscious and critical consumer of information. By recognizing the techniques at play, we can start to reclaim a bit of our own mental space, making more informed choices about what we believe and how we act. It's a vital skill in a world that's always trying to get our attention. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the world around us. Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible trail you leave behind every single day? I'm not talking about footprints. I'm talking about your digital footprint. Every click, every search, every like, every message, it all adds up. And someone or something is always watching. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that affects every single one of us: digital privacy. It might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but the reality is, our personal data has become one of the most valuable commodities on the planet. Giant tech companies, the ones that provide the free apps and services we love, are collecting staggering amounts of information about us. They know what you like, who your friends are, where you go, and even what you might be thinking of buying next. Their business model often relies on this. By building incredibly detailed profiles of our lives, they can sell targeted advertising space with pinpoint accuracy. Think about it. Have you ever talked about needing something only to see an ad for it pop up on your phone moments later? It feels a little creepy, right? While companies say it's to improve our experience, many privacy experts are sounding the alarm. They argue that this constant collection of data has gone too far, creating a system where we have little to no control over our own information. It's a trade-off we've made, often without even realizing our privacy for convenience. But it's not just corporations. Governments around the world are also involved in large-scale data collection, often in the name of national security. This issue exploded into the public consciousness thanks to whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. His revelations uncovered the sheer scale of government surveillance programs, showing how authorities could access vast amounts of private communications, sometimes without a warrant. It sparked a global debate. Where do we draw the line between security and privacy? How much freedom are we willing to give up to feel safe? These are not easy questions, and the answers vary dramatically from person to person and country to country. The real challenge today lies in the subtle ways our freedom is being reshaped. It's not just about someone reading your emails. It's about the algorithms that now govern so much of our digital lives. These complex computer programs decide what news you see, what job opportunities you're shown, and even who you might connect with on a dating app. The problem is, these algorithms can be biased. They can reinforce existing prejudices and create filter bubbles where we only see information that confirms what we already believe. This can limit our exposure to different perspectives and subtly influence our opinions and choices without us even being aware of it. Researchers are asking a critical question. If an algorithm is shaping our reality, how much of our personal freedom is truly our own? So, what can we do? It can feel overwhelming, like we're powerless against these massive systems. But there are steps we can take. Start by being more mindful of the permissions you grant to apps. Do they really need access to your contacts and location? Review the privacy settings on your social media accounts and limit how much you share publicly. You can also use tools like privacy-focused browsers, search engines, and encrypted messaging apps to better protect your digital trail. It's not about going completely off the grid. It's about digital hygiene. It's about reclaiming a little bit of control, one setting at a time. The conversation about data privacy is one of the most important of our generation. It's a constant tug-of-war between innovation, security, commerce, and our fundamental right to a private life. The more we understand what's at stake, the better equipped we'll be to demand a digital world that respects our freedom. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time. For decades, strange lights and objects have been seen in our skies, sparking wonder, debate, and sometimes a little bit of fear. What are these unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs? Are they simply misidentified weather balloons, advanced drones, or something else entirely? For a long time, these questions were dismissed, pushed to the fringes of serious discussion, but that's all changing. In recent years, governments around the world, including the US Pentagon, have started to take these reports very seriously. They've released official documents, declassified videos, and held public hearings, confirming that yes, there are things flying in our airspace that we cannot immediately identify. Let's look at the evidence. We have incredible testimony from highly credible witnesses, Navy pilots, commercial airline captains, and military personnel. These are trained observers, people whose job it is to know what's in the sky. They describe objects performing maneuvers that seem to defy our current understanding of physics. We're talking about instant acceleration, hypersonic speeds with no visible means of propulsion, and the ability to move seamlessly between the air and the sea. These aren't just blurry photos from a backyard anymore. They are documented encounters backed by radar data, infrared imaging, and multiple eyewitnesses. The famous Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos, released by the Pentagon, show exactly this kind of perplexing behavior. Pilots can be heard expressing their sheer disbelief at what they're witnessing. So, what are the possible explanations? The conversation usually splits into two main camps. On one side, skeptics and many scientists look for conventional answers. They suggest these could be advanced secret military technology from another country, sophisticated drones, or even rare atmospheric phenomena that we don't fully understand yet. After all, the history of aviation is filled with secret projects that looked like science fiction at the time. The development of stealth aircraft, for example, led to a wave of UFO sightings in its day. It's a logical and responsible approach to first rule out all known possibilities before jumping to extraordinary conclusions. Every strange light in the sky isn't necessarily a visitor from another world. But then there's the other side of the coin. A growing number of researchers, and even some government insiders, are cautiously exploring a more radical idea: the non-human intelligence hypothesis. They argue that the performance characteristics of some UAPs are so far beyond our known technological capabilities than those of any other nation that we must consider the possibility they are man-made. This line of thinking isn't new. If you look back through history, you'll find ancient carvings, Renaissance paintings, and texts from cultures all over the globe that seem to depict strange objects in the sky. Could our ancestors have been trying to tell us something? Proponents of this theory suggest that we might be dealing with an intelligence that has been observing us for a very, very long time. The biggest shift right now is the call for transparency. For years, the topic was shrouded in secrecy and stigma. Pilots who reported sightings feared for their careers. But now, with official channels for reporting and public congressional hearings, the conversation has moved from the shadows into the mainstream. The public is demanding to know what has been collected and what is known. This push for disclosure isn't just about finding aliens. It's a matter of national security and scientific curiosity. If unknown objects are flying through restricted airspace with impunity, it's a safety issue that needs to be addressed, regardless of their origin. As we stand at this incredible moment in history, the questions are bigger than ever. What is the truth behind these phenomena? What does the data really show? And if we were to discover we are not alone in the universe, how would that change everything we thought we knew about ourselves and our place in the cosmos? The search for answers continues, and with every new piece of declassified information, we get one step closer to potentially solving one of the greatest mysteries of our time. What do you think is going on in our skies? The conversation is just beginning. Thanks for watching, and if you're fascinated by mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives. Have you ever wondered how some family names seem to echo through the halls of history, century after century? From the banking halls of Florence to the royal courts of Europe, a select few families have managed to hold on to power and influence for generations. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a story of strategy, ambition, and very often, carefully planned marriages. Today, we're going to explore the historical patterns that allowed certain dynasties to not just survive, but to thrive and shape the world we live in. Let's start in Renaissance Italy with a name you've almost certainly heard: the Medici. Originally wool merchants and bankers, the Medici family of Florence rose to become one of the most powerful forces in Europe. How did they do it? Through banking, of course. They became the go-to bankers for the papacy, which gave them immense wealth and political leverage. But their genius was in converting that financial power into political and cultural dominance. They produced 4 popes, 2 queens of France, and sponsored artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, forever linking their name with the glories of the Renaissance. Their influence wasn't just inherited, it was actively cultivated and expanded with each generation. Now, let's cross the Alps and look at the Habsburgs. If the Medici mastered the art of money, the Habsburgs mastered the art of marriage. Their famous motto was, "Let others wage war. You, happy Austria, marry." And marry they did. Through a series of incredibly strategic unions, this Austrian family acquired thrones across Europe, from Spain and the Netherlands to Hungary and Bohemia. For centuries, the Habsburg jaw a distinct physical trait, was a visible symbol of their interconnected and far-reaching power. Their family tree isn't just a record of ancestry, it's a map of European political consolidation. They created an empire not primarily through conquest, but through wedding vows and inheritance laws, demonstrating that a well-chosen spouse could be more valuable than a well-equipped army. Of course, maintaining this kind of influence wasn't easy. It required a delicate balance. Families had to manage internal rivalries, navigate shifting political landscapes, and adapt to economic changes. Inheritance was key. Rules like primogeniture, where the eldest son inherits everything, were designed to keep estates and titles intact, preventing the fragmentation of power. These families understood that wealth and land were the bedrock of their status, and they created legal and social structures to protect them at all costs. They built castles and palaces that weren't just homes, but symbols of their permanence and power, standing as stone testaments to their dynasty's legacy. Looking at these historical patterns, we see a clear playbook for long-lasting influence. It involved accumulating and controlling key resources, whether that was money, land, or political titles. It involved strategic alliances, often sealed by marriage, to expand their network and neutralize rivals. And finally, it involved creating a strong sense of dynastic identity and purpose, ensuring that each generation was committed to preserving and enhancing the family's legacy. These families weren't just living in history. They were actively writing it. Their stories are a fascinating reminder of how power can be built, maintained, and passed down through the ages, leaving an indelible mark on our world. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the dynasties of the past interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more historical deep dives. See you next time. Have you ever wondered who's mapping out the future of our world? Every year, influential international organizations, like the World Economic Forum, bring together leaders from business, government, and civil society. They gather in impressive conference rooms to discuss some of the biggest challenges facing humanity, from climate change to the future of our economy. It all sounds very official, very important, and it is. They're tackling problems that affect every single one of us. These groups produce detailed reports and propose innovative solutions. For example, they've talked a lot about the shift towards digital currencies. Imagine a world where all transactions are electronic, tracked on a secure digital ledger. They argue this could make our financial systems more efficient and inclusive. Another hot topic is sustainability. We all know our planet is under pressure, and these organizations are pushing for big changes in how we produce and consume everything, from our food to our energy. They call it building a more sustainable and equitable world. On the surface, these goals seem noble. Who wouldn't want a cleaner planet or a fairer economic system? But these proposals have also sparked a massive global conversation, and not everyone is on board with the proposed path forward. A growing number of independent commentators, journalists, and everyday citizens are raising some tough questions. They look at these grand plans and ask, what does this actually mean for me, for my family, for my freedom? Let's dive into some of the specific concerns. When we talk about a fully digital currency, people worry about privacy. If every single purchase you make is recorded, who has access to that data? What could it be used for? Could a central authority potentially control your spending or even turn off your access to your own money if you do comply with certain rules? These aren't just far-fetched sci-fi scenarios. They are legitimate questions about power and control in a digital age. Then there's the sustainability push. The proposals often involve significant shifts in lifestyle. Think about ideas like promoting plant-based diets over meat or limiting personal travel to reduce carbon footprints. Commentators are asking, who gets to decide what a sustainable lifestyle looks like? Will these changes be voluntary, or will they be enforced through taxes, regulations, or social credit systems? There's a real fear that in the name of the greater good, individual choice and personal liberty could be seriously eroded. People also question the who. Who are the individuals and corporations driving these discussions? Critics point out that many of the leaders shaping these global plans are unelected. They are heads of major corporations and financial institutions. So, the public asks, are these plans truly designed for the benefit of all humanity, or do they primarily serve the interests of a global elite? It's the classic question of follow the money and who benefits. These aren't just conspiracy theories. They are critical inquiries into the structure of global governance and power. This isn't about being for or against progress. It's about ensuring that the conversation about our shared future is open, transparent, and includes everyone, not just the powerful. It's about understanding the potential trade-offs between security and freedom, between collective goals and individual rights. The proposals from these international bodies are just that, proposals, but they shape the thinking of policymakers worldwide. That's why it's so important for ordinary people to stay informed, to ask questions, and to participate in the debate. The future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we all have a stake in creating. By examining these global plans with a critical eye, we can better navigate the path ahead and work towards a future that is not only sustainable and prosperous, but also free and fair for everyone. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this insightful, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the topics that shape our world. In an age overflowing with information, a quiet but powerful shift is taking place. More and more, people are stepping beyond the familiar glow of mainstream media, seeking out new perspectives and asking deeper questions. It's a global movement driven not by any single leader, but by a shared human curiosity and a desire for a more complete picture of the world we live in. We see it everywhere in online forums, in community discussions, and in the rapidly growing world of independent media. This isn't about rejecting information outright. It's about enriching our understanding. It's about adding new colors to a canvas that was once painted in monochrome. This growing chorus of voices is creating a vibrant ecosystem of ideas. Podcasts hosted from spare bedrooms are reaching millions. Citizen journalists are reporting from the ground, and researchers are sharing their findings directly with the public. The gatekeepers of information are slowly losing their grip, not to chaos, but to a more democratic and participatory model of knowledge sharing. It's a testament to the idea that no single source has a monopoly on the truth. The journey to understanding is a collective one, and every voice, every question, and every discovery adds a crucial piece to the puzzle. It's a sign of a healthy, evolving society, one that values inquiry over indoctrination. Of course, this new landscape comes with its own challenges. Navigating it requires a skill that is more important now than ever: critical thinking. It means we can't just passively consume information. We must actively engage with it. It's about learning to ask the right questions. Who is telling this story? What is their perspective or potential bias? What evidence are they presenting, and does it hold up to scrutiny? Are there other perspectives that are being left out? It's not about being cynical. It's about being a discerning consumer of information. It's about developing a mental toolkit that allows us to separate the signal from the noise, to weigh different claims, and to form our own well-reasoned conclusions. This process of critical engagement is like exercising a muscle. The more we do it, the stronger it gets. It starts with a simple act of curiosity, pulling on a thread to see where it leads. It might mean reading a book from an author you disagree with, listening to a podcast that challenges your assumptions, or looking up the original source of a statistic you see online. It's about embracing the discomfort of not knowing and finding the courage to say, I need to learn more about this. This intellectual humility is the bedrock of true wisdom. In this vast sea of information, our ability to think for ourselves is not just a skill. It's our most essential survival tool. The rise of independent media and open discussion platforms is a direct response to this growing hunger for authentic dialogue. These spaces, at their best, are modern-day public squares where ideas can be debated, tested, and refined. They provide a home for the nuanced conversations that are often squeezed out of fast-paced news cycles. They allow for deep dives into complex subjects, free from the pressure of commercial breaks or pre-approved talking points. This digital renaissance is fostering a new generation of informed citizens who are not just passive recipients of news, but active participants in the great conversation of our time. It's a beautiful and hopeful thing to witness. As we look toward the horizon, we see the light of a new dawn breaking through the clouds. It's the light of a more aware, more engaged, and more thoughtful world. The path forward is not about finding one single, ultimate source of truth. Instead, it's about embracing the journey of discovery itself. It's about staying curious, staying open-minded, and never losing the courage to ask why. The future will be shaped by those who are willing to do the work of thinking for themselves, of engaging with different viewpoints, and of building their understanding of the world piece by piece. The power to shape a better informed future is, and always has been, in our hands. If this exploration has resonated with you and sparked your own curiosity, we encourage you to continue the journey. Thank you for joining us. Please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel for more content that challenges and inspires, and sharing it with others who might find it valuable. Thank you for watching. And so, we come to the end of another journey, a deep dive into the questions that have shaped our past and continue to define our present. Thank you, truly, for spending this time with us, for lending your curiosity and your intellect to these complex and often challenging subjects. We started this exploration with a simple question, but as we've seen, the answers are rarely simple. They are woven from countless threads of history, culture, and human experience. What we've discussed today isn't just a collection of facts and dates, it's a living conversation, one that evolves with every new discovery and every new perspective. The debates we've touched upon are not confined to dusty textbooks. They echo in our daily lives, in our societies, and in the choices we make for the future. It's a reminder that history is not something that just happened. It is something that is happening right now, all around us. And you are a part of it. We hope this documentary has given you something to think about, perhaps a new lens through which to view the world, or even just a spark of curiosity to learn more. The goal was never to provide all the answers, but to encourage the asking of more questions, to challenge assumptions, to look beyond the surface, and to appreciate the intricate dance between the past and the present. It's in that space of inquiry and reflection that true understanding begins to grow. Think about the key moments we've revisited, the pivotal decisions, and the voices from the past. How do they resonate with you? Do they change your perspective on the issues we face today? The beauty of history is that it belongs to all of us. It's a shared inheritance, and each of us has the right and the responsibility to engage with it, to question it, and to learn from it. As you go about the rest of your day, perhaps some of these ideas will stay with you. Maybe you LLC a headline in the news that connects back to what we VA talked about. Or you'll have a conversation with a friend that takes on a new dimension. That's the power of understanding our history. It doesn't just tell us where we've been, it illuminates the path ahead. Our mission here is to keep these conversations going, to continue exploring the fascinating and sometimes difficult questions that make us human. We believe that by looking back with an open mind, we can move forward with greater wisdom and empathy. But we can't do it without you. Your viewership and your engagement are what make this community so vibrant and meaningful. If you found this journey thought-provoking and believe in the importance of these discussions, we would be incredibly grateful for your support. Please consider liking this video as it helps others discover our work. Subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications ensures that you won't miss our next exploration. Every single interaction makes a huge difference and allows us to continue creating content like this. Thank you once again for your time and your attention. It means the world to us. We are excited about the stories we have yet to tell and the questions we have yet to explore together. Until then, stay curious, keep questioning, and we'll see you in the next video.